And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And everybody's moving to Idaho. Another national publication is detailing this, thanks to Market Eagle for sending this to me. Bloomberg Magazine, Reno, Boise, capitalize on the California real estate exodus. And what this article does is it goes inside the people that are moving here from California. When people are saying, why are they moving to Idaho? Here are some reasons, and we'll get your reaction. For some Californians, the state's punishing high housing costs, high taxes, and constant threat of a natural disaster have become too much. They're making their escape to areas such as Boise, Phoenix, and Reno, fueling some of the biggest home price gains in the country. While the moves are motivated mainly by economics, they've also highlighted political divides as conservatives from the blue state seek friendlier areas and liberal transplants find themselves sometimes in hostile territory. Now, I doubt that. I doubt that when we're talking about anyone being hostile to anybody here in Idaho is being hostile saying, hey, when you come in to a state and you're going to live here, when you buy a home, you should change your license plates. Is that being hostile? Or, hey, respect the home country sensitivities. So why are people coming here? Get this, almost 150,000 people have left California in 2 years, in less than 2 years. 26% of home buyers in the state could afford to purchase a median single-price home, which is about $600,000, according to the California Association of Realtors. Now you have somebody here, Glenn Kelman, Chief Executive Officer of Redfin, a national real estate brokerage firm. They opened an office here in Boise. They told Bloomberg, it's prices. Eventually, the laws of supply and demand are going to drive people to other parts of the country, Kelman said. Boise, and by the way, for me, it's the Treasure Valley. Is it 5 times worse than California as a place to live? But places in California are 5 times more expensive. Boise is becoming an alternative to traditional havens for Californians, such as Portland and Seattle, that have gotten too pricey. By the way, tell me how many conservatives outside of Lars Larson live in Portland and Seattle. 29% of Idaho's capital home listing views are from Californians. Reno and Prescott, Arizona are also popular. Their housing markets are soaring. In fact, in Nevada, where Californians make up the largest share of arrivals, prices jumped 13%, the biggest increase of any state. It was followed closely by Idaho with a 12% gain. Now, again, is this a false high if we're talking about people coming in that have big money? Because I guess there's a higher cost of living in California than there is in Idaho, pretty much destroying the housing market here in Idaho. It's been particularly attractive to Californians, and we're talking about Boise, who accounted for 85% of the net domestic income to Idaho. Now, let me repeat that one more time. Nestled against the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, Boise, Idaho, has drawn families for decades to open up its spaces and short commutes. By the way, how's that short commute working for you? Now, it's particularly attractive to Californians who accounted for 85% of the net domestic immigration to Idaho. 85% of the people moving here, according to Realtor.com, of the 2016 census, they're from California. While it has always prided itself on being welcoming, skyrocketing housing costs fueled by the influx is testing residents' patience. Now, they even quote almighty Dave Beater. He's outlining steps to keep housing affordable and asked Boise, stay friendly, Boise. Call it Boise Kind, our kindness manifesto. You won't get that from the White House. It's especially easy for buyers who have sold properties in the Golden State to push up prices in relatively cheap places like they feel they're playing with monopoly money, according to Kelman. Did you know the median existing home price in Boise's Ada County was almost $300,000 last month? almost up 18% from a year earlier. Now, at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, non-political, nonpartisan here, the housing market in Ada County has gone up 18% in a year. But here's the good news. It's still about half of Californians. The influx is great news for people who already own homes in the area. But if you're a local aspiring to home ownership, it feels very much that Californians are bringing their high prices with them. Do you agree with that statement? On a recent Friday afternoon at the Ada County Department of Motor Vehicles in Boise, an older man who declined to be identified takes offense when a reporter asks if he's one of the newcomers. He said he's not one of the people coming from California bringing their politics here. Now, again, we have a lot of people that are conservative, a lot of people that misunderstand Idaho. It's like you go into somebody's home. If they ask you to take off your shoes, you do. My big thing is, what are these folks, some of these folks, bringing here? And again, no one else is going to say this because it makes people uncomfortable. And by the way, at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, if you're from California, if you think I'm attacking you, I'd love to hear from you. And if you still have your plates from California, why'd you move here? Look, I get it. This land is your land. This land is my land. Love it or leave it. But on the other hand, you come into a state, you should be proud of the state you live in. Now, here's this guy, Kyle Epperson, 22, was leaving the DMV, clutching his new Idaho plates for his Mitsubishi Lancer. He says he leans right politically, but he made the mistake of waiting too long to change out his California plates. He's been flipped off twice. With a roommate, shares a brand new 2-bedroom apartment that's $1,100 a month. He says it's a big upgrade over the dumpy 1-bedroom he was looking at in California for $1,500. 32-year-old Wes Ferguson, he's at the DMV changing his plates. The decision to move had some political elements. He relocated with his wife and kids from outside of Sacramento, and he tips off what makes Boise attractive. Very family-friendly, cheaper cost of living, more conservative. Now, Boise is not conservative. Yes, there are some conservatives here, but compared to the Treasure Valley, not so much. At 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And it goes on and on. Here's another one. A Bay Area transplant isn't ashamed of her progressive views and is finding her place at the Natural Foods Co-op in downtown Boise, the Women's March last year, and volunteers and such. I can't remember a time when it's ever been this divided. So the fact that I can have interaction with people who might not have exactly the same beliefs as me, that's fine, as long as we can respect each other. And these are all the folks moving here to Idaho. Now, you're going to love this one. In nearby Eagle, Idaho, the new Renovair gated community is selling 1,900 to 4,000 square foot homes with floor-to-ceiling glass and wine walls. Who in Idaho has a wine wall? Maybe you do. That starts at $650,000. Now, again, we're not talking about an estate. This is in Eagle, Idaho, 1,900 to 4,000 square foot homes selling at around $650,000. Who has money for that? But if you're from California, it's a bargain. About half of his buyers are from out of state. Another couple, they moved in and opened a boutique in Boise that would make some of their fellow transplants feel more at home. It's called Madre, a boutique tequila, taqueria, or whatever. It's more fusion than typical Mexican fare with tacos, fillings including kimchi, short rib, and a popular Idaho spud and chorizo. It would have cost them 3 times as much to open a restaurant in California, according to John, a former chef at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Big time. So you have people here coming in, getting more for their money. And I guess that's great. But when you hear these stories and you are living in the time, what do you do about it? I guess you hire a really good real estate agent that can get you in. You get pre-approved. But is it fair? No, life is not fair. At 580-5436, 580-KIDO, 85% of the domestic immigration coming to the state from California, they can't all be conservatives, can they? Tax deductions, more for your money, retirement. I mean, we're almost like the Florida of the West, people coming in. And like I said, like in anything in life, like in your job, in your church, you have to want to be here. I'm sure it's not easy leaving a state that you've loved for many years, but in California, they've got non-citizens voting. Is that something that could come here? I think so.
Only a few dozen non-citizens have reportedly registered. On the city's election website, it warns information you provide is accessible to Immigration Customs Enforcement.
So people, given the national political climate, are understandably concerned, and some are quite honestly terrified of the potential of ICE enforcement.
David Lee with the Chinese American Voters Education Committee says it's worth it to let them vote in a school board election, that when parents are more engaged in their kids' schooling,
they're more engaged, they perform better academically.
Opponents of this say it devalues the rights of citizens. One national Republican committee woman said voting is a sacred privilege, and this trivializes it. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
And there you have it. That is, once again, in California, in San Francisco. Now, again, trying to understand this, we talk about waves, the blue wave, the red wave, the tsunamis. We've got a California tsunami coming in. And look, as someone who moved in here and was very welcome, we want to welcome everybody. But what about the cost of the people that have been here? Now, as a conservative, you can't say, well, the government needs to do something about it. Heck, the government's trying to figure out whether or not we're going to legalize horse racing again, but it's already legal, even though there's a statute in the Constitution that says you can't have these gaming machines. Right? Huh. That's what I'm wondering about. Huh. So we'll talk a little bit about that next. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Remember, the place to be heard, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Too many Californians, or is it just right? Let's go to your reaction to the Bloomberg article piece. We go to Matt in Boise with Kevin Miller. Matt, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Kevin. Just one big thing about the whole California transplant thing for me is I've lived here. I moved here when I was 3, and I've lived here ever since, and I'm 19 now. The biggest thing for me is, like, the community. Wherever you visit, wherever you go, like, the entire entity of a place is made up from the community and its people. So when you have a bunch of people coming in and diluting that, that's what you're going to find is going to be, like, the biggest problem, because all these Californians, they don't understand how tight-knit our small Boise community is, and also in the Treasure Valley, and they don't follow the same morals, the same way of thinking, and so they're just going to dilute the entire, like, experience that people come to Idaho to experience in the first place. So I feel like that's one of the biggest problems for me as a resident right now. And I don't know, it just gets under my skin because I have friends from California and I know people from California, and it's just a whole different entity over there. And so that's all I got to say, really. I mean, thank you for taking your time, but for real, like, it just bugs me like nonstop. So
I agree, Matt. Thank you for the call, and thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio.
Thank you.
580-5436, 580-KIDO, talking about the Californians coming to Idaho. Are you worried about the Gem State losing its unique culture, especially the folks that have been born here and that have lived in Idaho for many, many generations? We go to Fry Sauce in Boise with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Morning, Talk Radio. Good morning, Fry Sauce.
Yeah, good morning, Kevin, and good morning, everyone. I was at Elko. And, they're really concerned about the California invasion there, too. It's kind of upturning things there. And I just want to say that there was a particular part of the rally Saturday that I found very compelling, and that was, if people don't believe that there are witches, there are warlocks trying to cast spells on the president and his family, they have another thing coming. I thought probably the most compelling thing about this rally was the fact that those that were seeking to put hexes on the president were passing out, and they were being removed, and they removed themselves. And these are things that people need to realize. When they pray for the president, they need to keep these things in mind. And I just think that when we look at the caravan situation, we need to look at one thing in the Lord's Prayer, and that is, thy will be done in the United States of America as in heaven. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Fry Sauce. Another new caller joining us as we continue to, welcome everyone in. The place to be heard, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, traffic and weather together.
Recovered.
And back to your phone calls about the issues that matter to you. Let's go to Pete in Mountain Home with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Pete.
Kevin, I escaped California 14 years ago. I'm a benefactor member of the NRA, Army veteran, and I was a little concerned when I escaped California and came to Idaho because I realized Idaho had actually in the past put Cecil Anderson as their governor. And I thought, well, there's some squishy liberalism we'll have to do something about. And most of the people that I know that have escaped from California and from Oregon and moved here, at least to Mountain Home, we are not real happy with somebody coming here and trying to turn this into a liberal state. But I have to say, Idaho did vote for Cecil Anderson. That, that's a little concerning. I hope that the people that did that, who were Idaho natives, are now very repentant for their mistake.
Well, Pete, what are your thoughts on the current state of the election?
In Idaho or nationwide?
In Idaho.
In Idaho, I have to say, I think that the Democrat Party in Idaho, they had a fairly credible candidate with A.J. Balukoff.
Right.
And the one they picked is like a joke. I mean, I can't take her seriously. And I think that's good. I think that, having the Idaho Democrat Party feel that's how they want to be perceived, as supporting somebody who wants to ban guns and wants socialism here in Idaho, make Idaho Venezuela, then, hey, I'm glad the Democrat Party has come out and told us who they really are instead of trying to hide it.
Pete, thank you for self-reporting.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Pete Mountain Home on KIDO Talk Radio. Quickly to Jordan in Nampa with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Jordan.
Thank you for taking my call, Kevin. First-time caller here. I just transferred here from I'm a transplant from Portland, Oregon, escaping a 2-bedroom, 1-bath for $1,575 a month.
Wow.
And I came here, and I absolutely love it here in Idaho. I just think that there's a conservative mindset that, we obviously identify with the ideals, so I embrace them. But, I wouldn't imagine going to anyone else's town or to another country and trying to change their customs, traditions. And it's a big separating factor or ideology, poignant difference that, a lot of leftists that, it almost, at least in my perception, my view, it's almost abhorrent to have contraindications to what they want to see around them in the daily life or with politics, religion, and I think that's the whole perception. We're usually moderate, easygoing, and I don't think they're too tolerant or accepting of that.
Well, what do you make of the libs moving in, Jordan? Are we onto something here?
I think you are onto something here, absolutely. There's not a lot of moderation or with the liberal mentality. I don't believe that at all. As far as the party of peace and equality, it's about the last thing they want. If they have to compete with conservative values. I escaped that and couldn't even express my religion or beliefs at school in Portland to my workplace without just a barrage of negative sentiment. And I experienced it firsthand for a good 20-some years, and I can't believe I didn't escape sooner. And I do worry that it's going to come here in more than, and probably stronger than it's ever probably has been here. I don't doubt that at all.
Now, the big question, have you changed your plates?
I did. That was the first thing. My neighbors patted me on the back and said, "We'll do you a favor and tell you to get that done first and foremost." And I did.
Well,
Thankfully,
Jordan,
that has probably saved me some angry sentiment sent my way. But everyone's been amazing here. I can't believe that the neighborhood brotherly love feel that everyone's given. Just the kindest people I've ever met, and I wish I'd come here sooner.
very different from Portland.
Oh, absolutely. I like Portland for a lot of reasons, but it's not for how they treated my lifestyle or my views. It wasn't accepting at all.
Jordan, thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio. We'd love to hear from you some more.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin. Have a good day.
You too. More of your phone calls next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning, Kevin.
And out to Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern joining us now, Fox News Radio. Jared, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well. Of course, troubling news concerning former Justice of the Supreme Court, Sandra Day O'Connor.
Yeah, sad news. She has written a letter released by the Supreme Court that she has been diagnosed with dementia and quite possibly Alzheimer's as well. And she's been off the court now since 2006. And listeners may recall that one of the reasons she retired early by a lot of folks' estimation was to care for her husband, who was battling Alzheimer's disease at the time. So a very sad story. But I think, she wrote this letter and said that she wanted to explain all of this to the American people while she was still able to do so.
Obviously, it raises the profile of this disease, and hopefully it will, some good news will come of it. And you look at the courage of someone of her any stature to say, very soon I won't be able to utter these statements or remember anything because my mind, Jared, will be wiped clean.
It's very sad for anybody who knows anybody who's gone through it. Tough for everybody involved. I don't think it should surprise too many folks who followed Justice O'Connor's career that she would do this publicly. Obviously, she didn't shy away from being in the forefront. And one of her legacies on the Supreme Court was, before everybody sort of viewed Justice Kennedy as the swing vote, Justice O'Connor was often viewed in that same way. In a lot of key and divisive issues of her time, obviously put on the court, the first woman to serve on the Supreme Court by President Reagan, but not always, within sort of a conservative bloc, if you will, of justices.
Indeed. Is it too soon for any reaction from anyone?
Well, we've seen reaction from some of the other justices. Chief Justice Roberts put out a statement that acknowledged her legacy on the court, and notably, Roberts was initially nominated to fill the vacancy that she was going to leave as a retiring justice, and then plans changed with the unexpected death of Justice Rehnquist shortly thereafter, and the Bush administration pulled the nomination for Associate Justice for John Roberts, and he was nominated then for Chief Justice. But she was said at the time to have been very supportive of the idea of elevating Judge Roberts to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Jared, we appreciate your insight on this very emotional story.
Sure thing.
Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Let's go to Lee in Ontario. Lee, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Living the dream. Thank you for your patience, sir.
I was thinking about the impact of the immigration, where they said there was between 7,000 and 14,000 people moving into the area or moving into the United States. And the impact, as far as each person using approximately 33 gallons of water a day and 365 days a year. And I think a tanker truck holds about 60,000 gallons of water, don't it?
Sure.
And anyway, and then when the immigrants get here, within 5 years, they'll probably want to buy a car. And anyway, they're going to need houses and stuff in time. I was thinking maybe a good place to leave the immigrants off would be San Diego or Imperial Beach, and just start a community down there for them.
Some would say they've already started that.
or they could add to it.
That's a very good point. So do you think the caravan should be stopped?
Well, what I would do is I would move them to, like I say, San Diego or Imperial Beach. And like I say, they have their friends down there, and it's pretty well settled as it is now. And anyway, I think that would lighten the impact on the supplies and stuff that those people are going to use.
Are you willing to pay for it, Lee?
We're going to end up paying for it anyway, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm all about the wall, Lee. Anything else you'd like to share with us this morning?
No, just as you all have a good day. And anyway, we wish you the best. And thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Lee. You call anytime, okay?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Joining us now from the Gem State Patriot, gemstatepatriot.com, Tea Party Bob.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you today? Lots of new voices on the show this morning. It sounds very good. I'd like to hear that. You must be becoming very popular.
Well, I don't know about that. We're just trying to justify our existence. You know what I mean?
You do that every morning.
Thank you, brother.
I wanted to say a few words about this invading immigrant caravan heading towards the U.S. Anyone who believes that this group just spontaneously formed and decided to march 2,000 miles to seek asylum in America probably bought oceanfront property in the Mojave Desert. When many of the marchers were asked why they were leaving the country, they said because of the violence. But when they were asked why they were heading for America, the answer was for economic reasons like jobs and better lives for their families. Now, if they were truly seeking asylum, they could have stopped in the next country they entered instead of walking 2,000 miles to the U.S. But we all know this is all about embarrassing President Trump with a border confrontation. And those responsible for organizing this march have put a lot of money into it, and they're going to make sure the caravan arrives just as the midterm elections are about to take place. The problem with this plan is that the American people are not buying it, and that there will be a backlash against the Democrats that most Americans believe are responsible for this huge border incident that's going to take place. It has already been discovered that many of the migrants have criminal histories, and even some of them are members of MS-13. The caravan includes citizens not only from the Central American countries, but also from the Middle East, Africa, South Asia, elsewhere. We should all remember that these people are not entitled to asylum. Oh, is that your phone ringing, Kevin, or is that mine?
That's yours, Tea Party Bob. You might want to take that call.
No, I'm not going to take it. I'd rather talk to you.
Sounds like The Godfather.
These people are not entitled to asylum. They're only entitled to the first country they enter to get asylum. This action by the left is going to galvanize supporters of President Trump during the midterm elections, and I'm already seeing record turnouts in early voting. So this could be the straw that breaks the donkey's back and sets the Democrats back 10 years in their reach to regain government control. Or then, on the other hand, maybe these are just immigrants, really Californians, lefties in disguise heading to Idaho to buy a new home. Who knows? Maybe it's time to get out of Dodge. Anyway, remember to vote on November 6th.
I hear there's a lot of room in Wyoming.
Well, hey, listen, we talked about that before. What do you think?
That's our fallback. We're going to Wyoming.
All right, my friend. Listen, you have a wonderful day today.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Our great friend, Tea Party Bob. Grandma Carla in Middleton with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Grandma Carla.
Good morning, Kevin. I love your show. I listen every day.
Well, we love you. You staying out of trouble there in Middleton? That's a big city.
I'm trying to. I love all your callers. My favorite, of course, is Funky Liberal Steve. He just caught my attention. I think it was the first show I ever listened that got me hooked. And I was wondering if you would think it'd be fun and interesting to have him as a co-host at least once a week. I thought that would be a really good idea.
Well, we always listen to what you have to say. He's pouting right now, so some days he'll just email me all the time, and some days he'll call in, and that's the brilliance of the great contributors of the Kevin Miller program, Grandma Carla, is that they're polarizing.
Well, if he does ever do that, I think it would be fun. And I just want to say I love Liberty, Linda, and all your callers. I can't believe I'm calling, and I just like Liberal Steve a lot.
Well, welcome to the club.
Thank you, and I'll keep listening.
Well, his ears are burning because he's going to be on very soon.
Yay!
So really, you're Liberal Steve's biggest fan.
I actually am. I used to wake up and just wait for and I'd wake up too late, and I'd hear you say, or somebody would say, Liberal Steve this or Liberal Steve that, and I'd be upset because I'd have missed his call.
Well, I feel like a side order of fries on my own show. All right, Grandma Carla, you take care now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Craig in Boise joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, Kevin. Good morning to everyone. This whole caravan, which I don't even know who came up with that term. It's basically an illegal invasion force being put up by people with money. If everybody, all the listeners thought how much it would take to walk 2,000 miles or so, these people aren't carrying backpacks, and they're being supported with food on the way and transportation on the way and photo ops on the way and medical care on the way. It's not just people just kind of walking and making it here magically. I called both my congressmen and representatives yesterday and said they need to be stopped at the border. They need the military down there. They need the Army down there, not just the National Guard. And there's also some devices that can project a microwave via a kind of like a satellite dish. And basically it causes your skin to feel like it's burning. They need to line those puppies up and basically repel the border, because this is basically an invasion. I mean, somebody is supporting this. This isn't just a bunch of nice people. Maybe there's nice people mixed in, but the intent of what's being taken place here is not nice. This is aggressive behavior on the part of many people to promote this. People need to wake up, see what's going on.
Agreed. Thank you, Craig.
Yeah, oh, by the way, Liberal Steve's coming on next?
He's coming up.
Oh, wonderful. Just what we need, dumbing down of the program.
Well, you heard Grandma Carla. She's ready for him to come on all the time.
No comment.
Thank you, Craig. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. By the way, if you missed our interview with Bill O'Reilly, check out KIDOTalkRadio.com. We will have that for you. Also coming up, Congressman Jim Jordan will join us from Ohio. He's in town with Russ Fulcher, and Congressman Jordan will be joining us coming up this week to talk about how Idaho is crucial to the Republicans maintaining their lead in the House. Let's go back to the phones, and we go to Conservative Steve with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, sir. Conservative Steve.
Hey, well,
went to you a little quicker,
man.
Yes.
Let not your heart be troubled, my friend.
I love it when you say that, brother, yes.
Yeah, the thing is, hey, man, these photo ops, actually, it's a good thing for Trump, Now it just drives home what he's been talking about since he walked down the escalator, about the borders, Michael Savage, the borders, language and culture, it's a mess, and basically, it doesn't matter because, like Pompeo said, they will not cross into this country. And you know what? Hey, if it happens, guess what? That's the way it goes. But they know going into this that this is illegal, and they're just trying to get the photo off, and they're hoping that they'll hit the border and the batons will come out and the riot police and people will get hosed and whacked because they'll throw something and start a fight. That's how these instigators work, just like Benghazi and all the other stuff, they get the photo off like they're innocent and then they cut loose. And there'll be some planted in there that'll be aggressive and be the instigators. Remember in Penn State, remember back in the 60s, the campus shooting that killed 4, what was that, Ohio, remember?
Kent State.
Yeah, Penn State. Remember that? And guess what happened to the instigators that started all that? Guess what? They got the crowds riled up and they got the fight started and they got it instigated and they all ran like rabbits and let their friends get shot when they got them all in a frenzy. And that's how these people work, these agitators. And Obama's no better. That's all that guy ever did, was a neighborhood organizer. That's all he ever did, go door to door and rile everybody up. Never had a job in his life. That's why he can't create an economy like this, because he's never had a real job. Just an instigator, that's all. And it's all coming out. So, look at Biden and Obama. They draw 500 people. Trump has 20,000 inside and 25,000 outside and more lined up. So, it's just like in the election. Everybody had, Trump losing every state and this and that and the other. And Hillary couldn't draw 1,000 people. And the only reason that she'd draw 1,000 people is Bruce Springsteen or some rock star would be there. Well, who do you think the people came to see? They came to see the free show. It surely wasn't Hillary Clinton.
Right, or John Bon Jovi. Conservative Steve, thank you for the call. More of your calls coming next. Stay with us. We'll get to everybody. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And we continue on with our breaking news coverage. The CNN Center, the Time Warner Center, has been evacuated in New York City. More coming up at the top of the hour from Fox News Radio. We don't know the severity of this, but right now the CNN Center outside of the Time Warner Center has been evacuated. No details forthcoming. Suspicious devices, explosive devices have been sent to the Clintons and the Obamas and the offices of CNN in New York. Liberal Steve joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kevin. You had a really good show this morning, but first I'd like to blow some kisses out to Carla. Thank you for your nice comments. But you had so many things going on today. I kind of, the kneeling really got to me, this kneeling thing with the deep state getting us libertards and snowflakes and right and left against each other. They got to stop acting like kneeling has anything to do with the veterans. It has nothing to do with the veterans. It's too bad it took the African Americans 400 years to realize what makes the white man panic, and that's kneeling during the national anthem. And as far as Californians moving into the state, Kevin, they're Americans. Idaho's not an island to itself. It's America. I cross over to Oregon, I'm still in America. We're Americans. And I just want to say, Mr. Miller, your show, as usual, is always great. And a vote for Paula is a vote for the people. Thank you.
Thank you. More of your calls in a minute. Traffic and weather together. Good morning, Gabe.
Good morning, Kevin. KIDO Talk Radio traffic. Still working accidents on the freeway near Black Cat that may slow you down. And at Maple Grove, a crash just beyond Quarry Lane. With a non-electric Kinetico water treatment system, you get clean, soft water throughout the house. It protects your water using appliances, tubs, sinks, and more. Call Kinetico today. Kinetico in Meridian and McCall. That's your Impact Directory traffic update. I'm Dave Burnett on KIDO Talk Radio.
KIDO Talk Radio weather from the Channel 7 First Alert Weather Center. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Kevin. Not mostly sunny skies for today and a high of about 67 degrees. There'll be some showers over the next couple of days in the northern areas. Could even get a bit of snow above 8,000 feet in those mountain areas. But in the valleys, we're still going to be above normal and warm all the way through the weekend. I'm just Channel 7's Eric Gebert.
And back to your phone calls. Mark and Eagle, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. By the way, the other day I saw on Breitbart, there was an article about this caravan. There was an interviewer who interviewed one of these women, and this woman had 8 kids from Honduras. She said she wasn't coming up to escape violence and being shot out down there. She was up here to get a job. So I feel for him. That's fine. 8 kids. God may have said, go forth and multiply, but I don't think he said to go forth and multiply and just basically suck all the things out of the environment and the food and everything to you can't sustain everybody. 8 kids. Is this all they do is sit around down there and just pop kids out like in an assembly line, like Pez dispenser or candy dispensers? It's ridiculous. 1 or 2 kids is fine, but these people who have no money, they're raising these kids in a bad environment, supposedly, and this is ridiculous. And we're supposed to take them all on here and overflow the lifeboat till we all sink. You know, I have a relative who is married to a Mexican person. They contacted their relatives on pretty much a daily basis down there in Tlalpas, which is a better area of Mexico. This caravan of people, they have told them that are going in and breaking into stores and stealing things. Not only that, they've got a leftist president that will be coming in the next 2 months to take over, and he is going to be one of those globalists who embraces all this stuff.